Back everyone to a segment I like to call the Fantasy Sports Corner. I'm Mike Crocker, and today with the NFL season in full swing, we're going to be talking about what else? Fantasy football. Well, fantasy football has developed a following over 33.5 million fantasy owners today, and nowadays everyone seems to have a team. And over the course of the football season, team owners will be challenged with lineup decisions that can make or break a fantasy team. But fortunately, that's why I'm here today on the set of Open to try and guide you in the right direction to not only build a good team, but hey, maybe even a fantasy football championship. Before we get started, I'll remind you that even though the fantasy season and even the NFL season kicked off yesterday, you can already still go online and start playing today absolutely for free. Great websites like ESPN, Yahoo, and even NFL.com will give you everything you need, so if you haven't signed up yet, get drafting. Kicking things off, here's a list of my top 12 fantasy players this season. Now, I know what you might be thinking about this list. Why are there so many running backs? Well, in fantasy football, it's almost next to impossible to find one of these backs who gets all the playing time. So make sure you grab one of these guys on this list in the first round of your draft. Now, I wouldn't be much of an expert by telling you that the number one guy on that list, Adrian Peterson, is going to have a good year. But if there's one guy on this list I'm going to like and recommend to you guys, it's going to be Marshawn Lynch. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid myself on this one, and there's no reason in 2013 he can't improve in last year's numbers. I expect him to go over 1,400 yards easily with double-digit touchdowns. And if that's not enough, go over to YouTube, type in Marshawn Lynch to see what I mean when I really say this guy is truly a beast. And as you get deeper in your drafts and later on into your season, it's always good to be an owner who's always looking ahead, trying to find what I call sleepers, which are players who might be under the radar today, but might be the fantasy stars of tomorrow. Here's a list of guys that I created in almost every position that are currently undervalued, but could finish this year as a top-tier player. These guys should be someone you target later on in drafts and secretly hope that no one else picks up. And if all goes well, it could mean some serious bragging rights come playoff time. Players from this list I'm really excited about are guys like Reggie Bush and Ryan Matthews, two underperforming running backs in the past who might actually put up the stats they were expected to put up years ago. Reggie Bush has a change of scenery now with the Detroit Lions, as you see there, who plan to use his pass-catching skills. And the other guy, Ryan Matthews, well, he's finally healthy and on the field for once, so I expect him to live up to his expectations. Well, let's pull a 180 here and talk fantasy football busts. Players who get all this hype and might not even live up to the expectations set out by others. The first guy on my list, as you see here, is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the game, Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson. The playoff hero from last year looks great on paper. However, the major element of his game which won't land him on any of my fantasy teams this year is when Seattle gets in the red zone right about to score a touchdown, they're going to give it to Marshawn Lynch. Sure, Wilson's a good quarterback, but I just don't see him living up to the hype he garnered from last year's playoffs. Also on this list, a pair of running backs from last night's Sunday Night Football game for your Cowboys and the Giants. You know, I'm not really a fan of DeMarco Murray, the Cowboys running back, or even first-time Giants starter David Wilson. Wilson had a really nice touchdown run during the preseason, but last year in his rookie year, gets in there, first NFL carry, ready to go. What does he do? He fumbles it. And then last night, 1 year later, almost to the date, he goes out last night on national television and does it again. He's currently in head coach Tom Coughlin's doghouse, and I don't think he's any more than a flex option this season. Moving on, the Giants may have lost last night to the Cowboys, but let's go ahead and try to put a fantasy spin on things and break down what I liked about the G-Men's performance last night in Dallas. If any of you Giant fans out there are actually fantasy football owners, you might want to look for wide receiver Ruben Randall and even tight end Brandon Myers. Randall went over 100 yards receiving last night, and Brandon Myers, their new tight end, caught a touchdown pass from Eli, as well as 66 yards receiving. The Giants host Eli's brother Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Peyton, fresh off a 7-touchdown performance against the defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. And if the Giants throw as they much throw as much as they did last night, we might just see some more production from Randall and Myers. The Jets kicked off things down in Tampa against the Bucs, and the only thing I can really say about this one wasn't pretty. Sloppiness plagued the first half as Jets quarterback Geno Smith looked like a typical rookie. He would pick up his game, however, though, connecting on a touchdown pass to new tight end veteran Kellen Winslow. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the Jets respond practicing on a short week when they travel to New England Thursday night to take on Tom Brady and the division rival Patriots. All right, we're going to wrap things up here finally. We have a doubleheader tonight on Monday Night Football with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on RG3, fresh off knee surgery, and the Washington Redskins. Then, later on, Arian Foster and the Houston Texans will clash with the San Diego Chargers, and that's going to do it for Monday Night Football, and that's going to do it right here for me on Open, and conclude this week's Fantasy Sports Corner. You got any questions, you can head over to Facebook, ask me there, or heck, even go over to Twitter and ask me anything about who to pick up, bench, or even anybody off the waiver wire.
Oh, who to tackle? Ah! Oh, you guys missed that one. You saw I tackled him. He just got up.
Bob came in low.
Mike Crocker, give him a big round of applause, everybody. I like Reggie Bush.
I do like him too. And back when he was playing in USC, it was crazy. He was a human highlight reel, but honestly, I think it's just, right place, right time, and he did great yesterday too. Really good numbers.
Now, who's the young man that's fumbling on the Giants?
David Wilson.
No, Eli Manning, he got up there and said, you got to give him the ball more so he can break out of it and build up his confidence and everything. You agree?
I agree with that too, but I also don't agree with Eli throwing 50 times in a game. I mean, it's just a matter of time before Eli might even get hurt.
Yeah, all right. So, thanks for coming. Mike Crocker in the house, okay? We're going to take